don't know how long to wait for this thing to record.
I think it's good.
Oh, let the podcast begin!
The second episode of our podcast. Wow, exciting. If you're still here, impressive.
Good job. Who knows when these will actually be out, but if they're close together, then it's going to look like we are doing a really good job at this.
Yeah, and then there might be a super long pause until the next one, but
Just know that we're trying our very best.
For you.
We're sitting on the couch again. We waited for our friends to leave.
Yeah.
And then we asked them when they'd be back, and they said they didn't know, so they'd text us.
So hopefully they don't come back in the middle of us recording this.
If they do, we're going to leave it in, and then they'll feel really embarrassed about it.
Yeah, but then they'll be obligated to listen to it.
So yeah, that'll be good. And then, of course, share it on Twitter. I'm going to force people to advertise for us because I don't know how to, and I don't really feel the need to. But yeah, so in this second lovely podcast, we're going to be talking about Love, Simon, the movie, or Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, which is a book by Becky Albertalli. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Albertalli.
I feel like it'd be a nice time right now to preface this by saying our microphone is named Blue, so...
Yes! And if you have
Nice.
no idea, if you have no information about this book or this movie at all, that's not going to make any sense. But yeah, so the first part of this podcast will hopefully be spoiler-free. I will try my very best
We'll
not
try
to spoil.
hard.
And then the second part, we'll obviously let everybody know that we're going to be talking about spoilers and just our general thoughts about having seen the movie and read the book and the differences in our thoughts and emotions, because there are a lot of them. So we'll do that.
Should we start by going over the general plot in case nobody knows?
Sure.
Which if you don't know, you should know.
You should know. I feel like you could do that. You've read it a lot more than me.
Okay. Well, basically, Simon is this boy who has a secret email pen pal with this other boy who goes to his school, but they don't know who each other are. And he tries to figure out who he is, sort of, and they're in love. And then there's this stupid kid who finds Simon's emails and tries to blackmail him, which is horrible because he's a horrible person.
He's horrible. Well, he tries to blackmail him into getting... So he wants Simon to basically be his wingman to get him
because he
into
likes
a position to date Simon's friend Abby.
Yeah.
So that's what the blackmailing is for.
Yeah, so that's a big part of it, and then the emails. And
Just
that's the general.
high school drama, coming out story. They're
It's kind of like
juniors in high
a
school.
typical high school thing, but it's gay, so that makes it better than any other general book.
But yes, it's wonderful. I had never heard of this book until Kaylee told me about it because she's been obsessed for a while now. I don't know exactly when it came out.
I don't remember when it came out, but I read it like 2 years ago, I think, for the first time. And it immediately was my favorite book, like, ever. And now I've read it. I've read the physical book at least 4 times, and I've listened to it in audiobook twice now.
Very impressive. I have read it once, and that was in Spanish, which is not my native language, but I like to think that I'm pretty good at it, but I don't have a lot of practice reading in Spanish, at least books for fun and not just for academia. But I did read it over spring break, and it was lovely. And
I thought it was fun because when you kept sending me like Snapchats of the different parts of the book, I always knew exactly what was happening. Even though I have a very limited understanding of Spanish, but I knew the book so well that
you just automatically
you're like,
translate
oh yeah,
it.
I know exactly what's happening.
I tried to give you context too. Like if I sent a page of it, I'd be like, okay, so on this page, Simon is talking about this, and oh my god, I'm gonna die. And that was my whole spring break. That's what I did.
It was very entertaining for me.
But basically, it was really cool, I think, because Kaylee had obviously told me about this book when we started to see trailers for the movie.
Yeah, so I have been following the author on Twitter for a while, so I remember when she tweeted, like, they're thinking about making a movie based on my book. I was like, heck yeah. And then they were casting it, and then there were trailers, and it was super exciting. And I told Kristen, we're going to this movie, so you should read it, because you have to go to the movie with me.
Well, yeah, you can't go to a movie adaptation of a book if you haven't read the book. Generally. I mean, I know sometimes people will watch the movie first and then read the book.
No.
But, I mean,
you can.
For some things, it doesn't, but it just feels a lot better if you've read the book first.
It does, and it's so much better, and the book is always better. But, I mean, for this movie, I'd say go see it no matter what, even if you haven't read the book.
Yes,
but
the book is...
Also,
the book and the movie
read
are
the book.
both incredible.
Yes.
But having read the book first was just so cute, and I really loved it. And honestly, I'm not a person that reads just like ordinary life teenage angst. Like, what genre is that? Contemporary teen literature. I'm more like super high fantasy, give me your world problems wrapped in magic kind of reader. So I didn't really want to read this, to be honest, but Kaylee was like so excited about it, and I was like, okay, it looks pretty dang cute. And I knew one of the actors that was going to be in the movie, but I told Kaylee, you know, I probably wouldn't read this unless it was like in Spanish or something. And then lo and behold.
So I got her the book for Christmas in Spanish so that she would have to read it.
It's called Yo Simon, Homo Sapiens, which is a stupid title, but it honestly was a great reading level for me in Spanish, just for my own skill level. I did have to look up some words, obviously. I'm not fluent, but I had a good time.
It's a pretty easy read in English, too, which I like. You could read it in not very long.
Yeah.
I read it in an airport once. Like, I read the entire book in the airport when I was in the Rome airport in between flights. I read the entire book.
So fancy. I have started reading the English original version of this book. I haven't gotten very far yet because, you know, school. And we keep freaking talking about it. We keep talking about it instead. Like, we just rant about watching the movie and having read the book already. And I'm like, I need to read the English because I'm maybe like 30 pages in and there are so many differences that I've noticed, not in like the actual text, but just things that I didn't notice or didn't necessarily get as good of a reading for, because when I read it in Spanish, I was just focusing on like actually getting the plot instead of like all those cute little nuances and how the characters talk and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to actually fully read it in English because I'm obsessed already, so.
Yeah, and we've been listening to the soundtrack a lot because the
soundtrack
is A+.
It's like my music taste, but better.
It's amazing. Also, we're gonna go see the movie again on Thursday.
Well, that will make no sense depending on when this podcast comes out, but
I don't care.
It's currently Saturday, and this coming Thursday we will see the movie again. Kaylee, this will be her third time seeing it and my second time, which 3 is, I think, excessive. I don't go to the movies very often, so 2 times to see a movie is incredibly, that's just like, wow, this movie must be so important.
It'll be my 3rd time, and ideally not the last time I see it.
And you already tweeted about seeing it 4 times, which wasn't a lie. It was just a cool Twitter exaggeration, but now I feel like you have to see it 4 times.
I feel like I probably
to make it true. I'll have to go once by myself to be at par with your level of feelings.
When I have night class on Tuesday, you're like, I'm going to the movie.
That would be so strange. I've never been to a movie by myself. That's not it's already such a strange activity.
It feels weird. I was just having a conversation. Well, I guess I was involved in the conversation, but I saw some people talking about seeing movies by yourself, how it feels weird. It feels kind of weird to do anything by yourself, I think.
Yeah.
But movies aren't like a social experience.
They're not.
Really.
Like, I literally watched a movie sitting in my bed last night because Keely went to bed too early.
What movie did you watch?
It was Valerian and the City of 10,000 Planets or something like that. I don't know. It was on Amazon Prime.
We could have watched a movie.
You went to bed. You shut your door. And then I took a shower. And then I went, I'm not tired yet. And honestly, I'm willing to watch a movie. And so I just went on Netflix first, but then I couldn't find anything. So then I went on Amazon and I was like, I've heard of this. and it seems really like sci-fi, like Star Trek-y kind of thing. I heard of it, but I didn't know anything about it, and I watched it, and it was all right. I'd give it like a 70%
out of
100%.
A 70%.
Yeah,
That's how they
like,
score movies.
It was. That's how I score movies. 70 to 75% out of course, 100%. To clarify my scale. I don't know, it was creative. That's not what this podcast is about, though. But I was just saying that, like, watching a movie in your own home by yourself is fine. But watching a movie in a theater by yourself, that would feel so strange. And I don't know why. I mean, you can lean over.
It's even worse
You
because
can
it's dark.
lean over and, like, whisper comments to someone during a movie.
I do.
But yeah, we definitely do.
And especially when I'm watching a movie in my own home with other people, we talk
Oh God,
during the movie.
we talk so
Make
much.
a lot of comments, especially when we're watching Harry Potter
I do.
or
I
other
know,
movies.
I know I do it when I'm at home, and like if I'm watching a movie with my mom, and I'll ask questions and like make comments, and sometimes she's like, I can't fucking hear the movie. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just have a lot of plot questions or like world building questions, and I'm just curious, and I want to voice those out loud so that we can participate in the movie watching.
And I love making jokes during the movie.
Oh yes, the perfect activity. If you don't do that, watch a movie that you love and then absolutely tear it to shreds while you watch it with friends. It's great. Great content.
But when you're in the theater, if you do stuff like that, the people behind you or around you will get upset with you for talking during the movie.
Don't do that. But I think it's okay to just like lean over and go like, hey, that was a pretty stupid move on that character's part, don't you think? And then the other person just nods like, yeah.
That definitely happened.
That's fine. I can't not do that. I have to. But anyway, we got off track a little bit. movie watching in general.
Should we actually talk about the movie now?
Sure. So, if you care about spoilers for the plot of this at all, maybe stop this podcast.
And then read it and watch it.
And then read
come
it
back.
and then come back, because you see podcasts are available usually for a while.
Yeah, this podcast will explode.
It'll be, I don't know, can you like tag podcasts? We have yet to post a podcast while we're recording this podcast.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, but
The
I'm
point
sure
is, listen
if
to
people
it.
want to listen
read
to
it.
a Simon podcast, this will be there. So
For
please
eternity.
enjoy. But anyway, so like basic thoughts about this movie. It killed me. Body and soul, I'm dead now.
It was... I can't really...
One of the most
It's
wholesome and yet heart-wrenching movies I've ever watched.
I mean, I'm gonna see it for the third time, and I am excited about that, and I'm fully prepared to go see it many more times. So.
It's just like, I don't know if I've ever watched a movie where the movie adaptation was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And comparable to the book.
Like, there were a lot of things that were different, but
they didn't upset me.
yeah,
And
some of the little things I was like, there was really no point in changing it, but whatever. But I understand how a book that's told kind of through email could be hard in some ways as a movie. And the ways that they changed it, I think, worked
They did some really
well.
cool things.
Yes. Some things were a little bit weird that weren't super necessary to change, but I still think that the movie worked well as the adaptation of the book, and I'm super happy about it.
It was just so amazing. And but one of my favorite things when a movie adaptation of a book comes out is just seeing the differences and things like that, but I like to be surprised. I don't want to have read the book and then see the movie and find that it's absolutely identical. Like, yeah, of course, I want the plot to be the same. Like, don't change the plot. That's so stupid. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, like, I don't want, as someone that has read and enjoyed the book, to go in and just be bored because it's like, oh, I've read this story already. And even if I love it, I still don't want to be just like, oh, okay, the movie was exactly the same and nothing different happened or nothing changed, even just like a little bit. Like, I'm fine with small changes so that I can be surprised still.
I liked some of the added scenes, like the dancing at college was just so funny.
Yes, gay college dancing scene. But just things like, I'm trying to think of an example of something. Okay, so the basic plot of the book, right, is that you don't know who Simon's pen pal is that he falls in love
Pen
with.
pal.
Pen pals. Oh wow, they must be really good friends and pen pals. His like person that he falls in love with,
Blue.
but we don't know who he is. But in the book they tease like, oh, could it be this person? Could it be this person? And then in the movie they do that too, but certain things are changed where you're just like, oh my god. Wait, what's going on
they
here?
They add more clues. And I liked how the movie did like when Simon thinks it might be this person, and then they show them being blue. I thought that was really cool. I wasn't sure right away. This is the spoiler part, right?
I think we can go full spoilers now. We're gonna do full spoilers.
I'm about to say who Blue is. So when Bram was just blue, I was like, what the heck? They're just showing who it is right off the bat.
But then you don't realize that it's just for the viewer of the movie to see.
Yeah, my initial thought was they're just gonna show him right now, but then I was like, wait, I bet they're going to show different people who he thinks will be blue.
Yeah,
and
so
I was really excited with that.
It was like Simon picturing the person that he was contemplating as being blue typing the emails. So like he met a guy at the Waffle House and thought he was cute, and so then he was like, oh my gosh, maybe he's blue. And then the next scene was like the Waffle House employee typing the next email that Simon would receive. So it would be like his imagination of who he was thinking blue was at the time, basically because he thinks that any boy that he likes is blue for a while. Because Simon is so stupid.
So funny.
Simon is so dumb. And it makes for great content.
He's amazing and I love him. Also, in the book, he doesn't do it as much. Like Cal Price, he thinks is blue pretty much throughout the whole thing, and he doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to thinking it might be other boys. And so I like that they added in, like, who could it be? Like, it could be him, it could be him, it could be him.
Yeah, it added more mystery to it, especially if you had gone into it having never seen it. I think it makes it more confusing. And then you don't even know. Like, if they'd only showed Blue as Bram and Cal, then you'd be like, well, obviously, if it's not Cal, then it's the other one.
Yeah.
Because at the end, he confronts Cal and is like, hey, are you blue? And he's like, no.
Are you blue?
No, I'm not.
I love how he just straight up asked him.
Well, at that point, everyone knows about it.
I know. In the movie, in the book, it wouldn't have been
really
funny.
That way. And it would have been hilarious. What else have we talked about?
One of the little things that I think, like the little thing that they changed that was kind of unnecessary to change was his email address.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a big deal, so I'm not, like, mad about it. It was just, like,
why, though?
Why not just keep it how it was in the book? It wasn't necessary to change it. It wasn't necessary to keep it the same, but it wasn't necessary to change it either.
Yeah. It didn't really make any sense to me. And even, there was a part when he's making his Gmail account and he's listening to music and that lyric comes up that's like from my window.
Yeah, and that's why he types it.
But I wasn't even paying attention to the music. Like, I realized after he typed it that he had typed that lyric, but I was like, I didn't hear it when he first...
The first time I watched it, I was like, why you choose that? Because he's looking out his window or something? But then the second time, I paid a little bit more attention, and that was why. But the original email address was a lyric too, so why not just have that song playing and do that?
Yeah, it made no sense. I don't know if they thought it was too long, like hour to hour, note to note. Took too long to say, but that's not true. And also, they don't say the emails out loud.
Yeah, and I was my original thought was, if it's a lyric from a song that no one really knows, then no one will get it. But this was also a lyric from a song.
I certainly didn't know either of the songs used. So it really was nothing to me. So you're just like, well, why couldn't you keep them the same?
They should have kept it, but that's a small thing that I don't really care a whole lot about. It just was weird that they changed
But I would be interested to know why they felt the need to change it, though.
Yeah.
Something that literally appears in the book, like every couple pages when they have an email.
They kept Blue's email the same, but not Simon's.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. But I just like to, I think it would be interesting to read an article where maybe they talk to the producers or whoever makes those
I don't know who made
decisions.
the decisions.
Certainly not Becky herself. Probably didn't agree to change the email. She'd be like, well, why though?
I mean, I'm sure she agreed. I don't know.
I feel like
I don't
authors
know.
don't have as much control over the movie once
Probably
they've
not at
sold the
all.
rights to it.
You're
She
right.
probably can suggest things, but if they're like, we're changing the email, there's nothing you could do about it. She probably was just like, I guess so. Have fun with my
Okay, I don't
my
know.
book baby.
Don't know why you found that necessary, but whatever.
Another small thing that they changed. Well, it's not small necessarily. It's literally an entire person that was deleted. But
Oh,
was
his
that person
sister?
necessary? Simon has two sisters. One that's a freshman in high school,
Yeah.
and then the other one that's away at college. And they deleted the one that's in college, which
was fine, I guess.
context is fine because she's gone for the majority of the book, but like we hear from her and they Skype and stuff.
So I don't mind that she wasn't in the movie because she wasn't in the book a whole lot and she wasn't necessary to the movie, but you could have at least mentioned, I also have a sister who's in college.
It wouldn't have been that hard.
No.
I just don't really get it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just thought this extraneous character isn't necessary
I mean, she
for
wasn't
the plot.
that important.
She's not, but it's just like a nitpicky thing where
It was one of those things that, like,
you're like, where is she?
it wasn't necessary to change. Like, she didn't have to be in it, but you didn't have to exclude her either.
That just might be us just being like, why isn't it the same as the book?
I know.
How
Which is
dare
another
you?
thing I'm not, like, mad about. It's just...
No, it's just interesting. Where you're like, but why did he get rid of this character? Also because I think it's interesting that she's older than him. Like, Simon's the middle child.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a different dynamic.
Also, I don't know how old his sister's supposed to be in the movie. I don't know
She
how
looked
old the actress
Way
is.
younger than someone that...
But she doesn't. Yeah, she didn't look like a freshman in high school.
I don't really
I'm
know what
bad
freshmen
in high school is supposed to
I'm
look
bad
like.
at guessing ages, but I would say with some degree of confidence that she is not the age of a freshman in high school, but I don't know. Are you going to look up the actress?
Well, I don't know who the actress is. I'd have to do a lot of Googling
Oh,
to
that's
figure
a
it
lot
out.
of Googling. I'd have to talk about something else while you Google.
I can keep talking while we Google. I was going to say something else about her.
Wow, multi-talented.
Oh, well, she was on the Tumblr. Like, she saw the Tumblr post. So,
About Simon being gay.
yeah.
Because eventually the boy that, obviously you've heard about this, but I'm just clarifying for anybody that might not care about spoilers because they're never going to read it or watch it. I don't know why you would do that. But the boy, Martin, that's blackmailing Simon, eventually outs him like a complete jerk on their high school's Tumblr, which makes no sense. But I guess they have one where they spill secrets about things and it's not found out or regulated by the school administration. But whatever, we'll just glaze right over that issue I have.
Yeah.
But he outs Simon and then everyone talks about it and his sister sees it in the movie. In the book, does she see it?
Yeah,
too?
she does.
Oh, well, obviously
Well-
because she's a freshman in the book. But I mean, in the movie, when she appears younger, she
His-
still sees it.
So the actress is 16.
Oh, that is like the age of a freshman.
So I guess
15 or 16,
freshman.
right? 14 or 15?
I don't
She
know.
looks so young though.
Yeah,
she
she
looks
looked-
so little.
Maybe she's like short.
Maybe she's just really small, or they're lying about how old she is. Conspiracy theory.
It says she was born September 4th, 2001.
Ugh, but that just makes everyone sound young. If they're born after 2000, I'm like, oh, what a child. And then I remember that we're in 2018 and that they're 18. They were born in 2000. But yeah, I don't believe that. She looks really young. Maybe we just don't know what high schoolers look like anymore.
Yeah, I really don't.
That could be the problem. But she really did look young. I don't know.
Everyone who's not in college looks tiny to me. Like when high schoolers come to campus, I'm like, who are these children?
Who are these middle schoolers? And then they're like,
And they're
I'm
like
17.
Seniors in high school.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not that much older than you, but I'm an adult and you're not. But I swear, she did not look like a freshman, but I guess she actually was. But it's just not really established that she is. Did I ever even mention it in the movie?
No, they
That
never
she's a
talked about
freshman?
how old she was. And I never saw her at school.
He's just like, this is my younger sister.
And in the book, he drove her to school.
Yeah, like she's with him.
But he didn't have room in his car to drive her.
Yeah, he only has room for 4 people, and those are his friends.
Also, in the book, Abby did not live close enough to them to be able to be driven to school.
No, I literally just read that part again in English this morning, and it was like, oh yeah, it takes her literally an hour to get to school.
Yeah, it talks about how Atlanta is, like, segregated.
But they just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he just, like, drives freaking... Well, to pick up Nick and Leah, he drives, like, 2 feet.
Yeah, well, they live... Well, Nick
then-
lives close to him in the book. Leah lives fairly close. Not, like, that close,
But he just, like, backs out of his driveway and into the, like, adjacent driveway, and that's where his friend Nick lives. And then he pulls, like, down the block a little bit, and then Leah's
He
there.
goes down the block to Nick's house and then backs out of Nick's driveway right into Leah's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was confused. But then they cut, and then it shows him picking up Abby. But, like, no one would drive a full hour. Like, if I had a friend and they lived a full hour from where I went to school, because, like, I live... For my high school, I lived, like, 5 minutes away from my high school. So I would not have driven a full hour to go pick up my friend and then a full hour back to go to school. I would not.
I mean, I think in the movie we're supposed to assume that she lives a lot closer.
Yeah, I think so. But that's just like, that would be way too much. She takes the bus. It's fine. Apparently, a bunch of other kids live that far away from school. Why they don't have another school district makes no sense.
I don't know.
But I've never been to Georgia. I don't know what life is like there.
I think it was cute, though. Them all in this car.
Yeah, and
so
then
I'm not really mad about
and
that.
then they get iced coffee together in the morning, and they're
Yeah.
so cute.
And then they get 5 because he starts driving Bram to school, who also just happens to live close enough to them.
I guess, or maybe but if it's your boyfriend, you'd probably go out of the way a little bit more.
Simon's like, heck yeah, you're on my way to school.
His friends are like,
Nick's like, where are you going, Simon?
Simon, we have to get to school. And he's like, hey, so Bram lives like 20 minutes away, but here's the deal. We're dating now, so I think I'm going to drive him, and you guys can't say no because this is my car. And they're like, all right, I guess so. And he's like, don't worry, we're still going to get iced coffee, though. And they're like, yay!
In the very last scene of the movie, do they skip school?
I don't know.
Is that what they're doing? He's like, we're going to go on an adventure.
Well, maybe it wasn't a school day.
He still just picked them up in the morning.
Yeah. Maybe he just said, hey, I'm going to pick you up today. I don't know. It kind of feels like they were going to skip school.
Yeah, I think they were going to skip school.
Maybe it's senior skip day? Are there seniors yet?
In the movie, they are seniors.
Senior skip day, then. That's what
It was
it is.
18 days before graduation. Or
Oh,
17.
you're right.
Because
Yeah,
in the
he's
book, they're
got his-
juniors.
Yeah, he's got his blackboard. So yeah, it's probably like senior skip day, or they just don't care because they're seniors
'Cause
and
they're
they have senioritis.
Yeah, true. I saw a post on Tumblr that said, Simon needs a bigger car because Garrett doesn't get to go on an adventure with his friends. I'm like, honestly, Garrett just shows up to school and none of his friends are there. His
Okay.
entire lunch table is missing.
Here's my thoughts, are that like Simon and Blue are dating, and then Abby and Nick are dating, and then Leah is a fifth wheel at the end. Like, she's just fifth wheeling really hardcore in the car, and I bet she would appreciate having someone that also is not dating within the friend group to tag along on these excursions that they're having.
Yeah.
Because they like climb into the car and just automatically kiss, and Leah's probably in the backseat like,
Well,
guys.
she got out of the front to let Bram sit in the front with
yeah,
Simon.
that's strange. Here's a concept.
The true ally.
If you're driving, if you're picking up your friends, and you pick up your friend, and they sit in the passenger seat, and then you're driving again, and you pick up your significant other, and then Leah gets out of the passenger seat, why didn't she just sit in the back seat in the first
Yeah, why would
place?
she just have gotten
You
into
can
the backseat?
you can be in a car and not sit in the passenger seat if it's empty. You can do that. Like, that's how taxis work. There's a driver and then you sit in the back. It's allowed. That was the strangest thing. She's just like, I need to sit in the passenger seat because Simon and I are best friends.
I don't know.
Strange friend group dynamics that I don't understand. I don't know. These are strange nitpicky things. These are our thoughts, right?
You know something I think would have been cool? If they had made some reference to Cal Price being bi.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. Like, when he asks Cal if he's blue, and he says, like, you want to talk about it, which was so nice of
It
him.
was so
He also
sweet.
could have Because in the book, he, like, asked Simon out. So he could have, at some point.
Yeah, he's like, it would I'm sure it
Like,
would be
you
comforting
wanna
for you
get
to
coffee
know that
sometime?
I'm bi, so if you ever want to just, like, hang out. But they do have whoever that guy's name is in the
Ethan?
movie. Ethan?
Yeah, the other gay guy?
Yeah, I didn't remember what his name was.
Yeah.
They talk a little bit.
That was nice.
I appreciated that. So it's not like there's an absence of other characters that, like, aren't within his friend group. But yeah, like, what the heck? They could have had, it's a movie about a gay boy.
Yeah, you
But
should have just mentioned
You
it.
can
at some
have a
point.
bi character, too, and talk about that. Like, you don't have to only have it be, like, full-on, the only characters in this movie are just gay. We're not going to complicate it by including bisexuality. Oh no, that's too much for the people watching this at home. That's way too complicated. We can't explain that. I don't think it would have been a big deal.
Yeah,
Like,
you should have
hey,
just
you want to talk about it?
mentioned it.
I'm bi. Like, no big deal. And they'd be like, oh, okay, sure, yes, I love having a support system of people that I can talk to and go to with my problems. Thank you, Cal. And also nice frosted tips.
Leah also, canonically, is bi, but she hasn't come out yet. The next book, there's
Yeah.
a book about her.
I didn't know that until you told me that, and I was like, oh.
It's coming out in April. It's called Leah on the Offbeat, and Leah is bi. And it's gonna be great.
That's another thing that we can talk about. I can't even speak anymore. I read the book in Spanish and now I can't speak in English. But the fact that in the movie, Leah admits to Simon that he is the one that she's in love with, when in the book, it's just Nick. She likes Nick, their friend.
Yeah, she for sure likes Nick.
It's such a
In the
love
book.
triangle. It's like Leah likes Nick, but Nick likes Abby, but Martin likes Abby. And Simon hates Martin.
And Leah doesn't like Abby.
Leah doesn't like Abby, and Abby likes Nick and likes Martin for a little bit, but then doesn't like him like that.
Yeah. And then everyone hates
A
Martin.
tangle of teenage emotions you can barely keep track of. But that was really surprising to me that she was like, oh yes,
Yeah.
Simon, you're the one that I've been in love with, even though they've been friends for years.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's probably happened before in the history of heterosexual romance, or even not heterosexual.
I don't know.
But then you said that when you read it
So I've
again,
read it several times, and the most recent time especially that I was reading it, I was thinking, does Leah have a crush on Simon? Like, it's pretty subtle, but there are a few parts that on multiple readings of it, I sort of thought that she might have a crush on Simon, and then just never talked about it, especially after she knew he was gay, because there was no point to tell him. And so when she said that in the movie, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, actually. So it's not that weird to have added in. But in the book, she definitely did have a crush on Nick, which she could have also had a crush on Nick in the movie. You
Yeah,
know? You can
well-
have crushes on
well,
more than
but-
one person.
well, and when Nick kind of like pushed them together, she accepted. Like, Nick asked her out on a date, and she was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be incorrect to assume that in the movie they just didn't have her also
She
have
might
a
have had
crush
a
on
little bit of a
Nick.
crush on Nick in the movie, but
But
mostly
they just
Simon.
made it seem like she was head over heels in love with Simon for a long time and had never said anything about it. I mean, the poor girl. She's just really wants to, date her friend.
She just
and
wants
he comes
to-
out as gay.
Fit in. That's not the right word. She just wants to be.
She wants to be in
have
love.
people. She wants to be included.
She wants to be included, and she's not.
I love Leah.
They butt her out. I mean, fun fact, while I was reading
Yeah.
the book, I forgot about Leah. I mean, like, it's not that I don't like her. She's wonderful. But when I was reading, I don't know, I guess I was probably just focusing really hard on just gathering the plot, and I really didn't notice when she just kind of disappeared until it was brought up that she was mad at Simon.
Yeah, she was just mad at him for like half the book.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But she just disappeared for a while. Like, he was like, oh, I haven't seen Leah in a while. And I was like, who? I forgot about her. How rude of me. And then, I mean, they resolved it, that she was mad about him coming out to Abby first, and he'd only known Abby for a couple months, so why was he so friendly with her? So I guess that's another reason why she would have been mad, or that, like, confirmation that she also had a crush on Simon in the book, because why would she care so much that Simon was getting all friendly with another girl? I mean, it sounds so cliche.
I mean, most of it was like she was afraid that Simon being friends with Abby would push her away. But I think
But couldn't it also
there
be
also
extended
was a little
to...
bit. I think that it's not far off base to say that in the book she has a crush on Simon, even a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I've barely gotten into the English version, and I'm already catching little things where
Once
Leah
you
definitely
think
could.
that she might, and then you read it again, it's you
So
see it
if
more.
you've read it, read it again.
And think, does Leah have a
think
crush
about
on
it.
Simon?
Because if she, to the full extent of her knowledge, Simon was straight, and she had been friends with him for years, and basically was in love with him, and then all of a sudden another girl showed up, and Simon was getting really close with her, she could conceivably think, like, oh my gosh, do they like each other? Are they going to date? And then my chances are gone. And then also the whole, like, he wouldn't be my friend anymore.
Yeah, and it'd be both boys that she has crushes on are like in love with Leah. I mean, Abby, and she'd be like, no.
Abby's the cool new kid on campus, and Leah just is full blown jealousy.
I've also heard theories that Leah has a crush on Abby.
Oh, the drama.
Which, who wouldn't have a crush on Abby?
It sounds like she's literally the perfect.
Yeah, she smells like French toast.
She smells like French toast. It said in the book.
And the actress who plays her is really pretty.
She plays Storm in some of the newest X-Men movies, and I didn't realize until I read the actress's name, and I was like, oh, I know that name. And then I Googled it. This literally happened like 2 days ago.
I remember that. I was there.
Yeah, you were there. But it blew my mind. I was like, Alexandra Shipp? Do you know who that is? And I Googled it just to make sure, because I was like, I think it's Storm. But, if I was wrong, that wouldn't be very good. And so then I Googled it, and she is, and that's so cool. She's so successful. I'm very proud of her. But yeah, good quality. She smells like French toast. So why wouldn't Simon like her? Why wouldn't Leah like her? She smells like French toast.
The top quality to look for in a potential partner.
My type, people that smell like French toast. If you smell like good breakfast, then you're the one for me.
But you smell like coffee, so then you would just be like a complete breakfast set.
Yeah, if you smell like French toast and I smell like coffee, which I do, just automatically I do smell like coffee, then together we'd be unstoppable. We could open a cafe.
A gay cafe.
A gay cafe. It would be amazing. But yeah, I just can't wait to read more of it in English and gather more of these cute little details that I missed. Or like little language things. Like, ooh, it's so cute, and I'm just enjoying the heck out of it.
Every time I think about it, I'm like, should I read it again? But then I think, I've already read it 6 times. Also, I have a lot of other things that I should probably do. So maybe I'll reread it this summer. I have it as an ebook.
Oh, you do?
So I can read it whenever I want, wherever I want.
Well, buy a version of it in Dutch that you won't be able to read. It'll just look cool.
It'll just look cool. Well, I have to buy a Harry Potter book in Dutch because I have one in Italian and one in German.
Yes. Kaylee buys Harry Potter books in different languages.
I can't read them, but they look cool.
Can't read them. They look fun. I didn't actually finish it because school started, but I do own the first Harry Potter book in Spanish, and I have read part of it. It's a good time. There's a lot of made-up words in it, though, so that makes it a little bit difficult.
True.
But I figured this summer I could probably actually read it, and then perhaps buy more, but I want them all to look the same, so that's my own problem.
Yeah, mine don't look the same. One of them's hardcover, one of them's paperback. But
it's okay.
I just want a full set in different languages.
I just don't want those new paperback editions that have weird drawings on them. I don't want them. I want, like, 1990s, early 2000s hardcover.
I like the cool box set where the spines have Hogwarts on it.
Yeah.
That looks cool, but you need the whole box set, which...
That's so expensive.
is a lot.
Even paperback is so expensive. Oh my gosh. What other things can we talk about? We're already talking about Harry Potter. No. We're going to make a cool, good segue that doesn't make it seem like we got really distracted. So, in the book, there's a lot of Harry Potter references, and I live for them.
Yes.
It's just, and also the fact that, like, a lot of the characters, other than Simon, don't know what he's talking about, which, how could you not? How is Simon friends with so many people that don't know what's going on?
Also, some of the things are so, like, just regular. Everyone knows what Harry Potter is. So some references, people are like, oh, that's Harry Potter. Even if you haven't read it, you know.
He's like, I'm dressed as a Dementor for Halloween. And they're like, oh, what? And you're like, come on. You're telling me you haven't seen on a poster for the movie or something. Even if you haven't seen them ever in your life, you've never seen the Dementors.
That was his sister who didn't know what Dementor was.
I know. And you're like, how do you have a sibling that doesn't know these things? Is Emily messaging right now? Oh no, our roommate might be coming back.
She was typing, but then she didn't say anything.
Oh, she's typing. Okay, well, we're just gonna keep podcasting and hope that everything's okay.
That was another thing that they changed in the movie that was not a big deal, but also not super necessary to change, was Simon dressed up like a Dementor for Halloween.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he
dresses up as John Lennon and Leah is Yoko Ono, which, okay, in defense of this costume, that shows that they're, like, really good friends. Like, good friends coordinate their Halloween costumes together, and that's extra cute. Like, if you have a group costume, way to go, because that requires planning. So they're John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and then in the book, he just, like, he just puts a freaking Dementor outfit, like, over his regular clothes.
Yeah, he doesn't even change, really.
And then at the party, they're like, dude, what the heck are you? And then he's, like, got the, like, face covered, and then he just takes it off. So it's just like he's wearing a black robe. Like a weirdo.
Also, there was a point in the emails in the book where Simon talks about his costume being simple and badass, and then Blue is like, oh, a ninja? I don't know. But they don't have that email in the movie, so it's doesn't really matter. He never talks about his costume with Blue.
Yeah. But I just really would have loved some more Harry Potter references. They did. Okay, I thought in the movie that they wouldn't make any reference to Harry Potter for, like, legal reasons, and that's why he didn't dress up as a Dementor. But then they literally talk about Simon having dreams about Daniel Radcliffe.
And they had a whole Harry Potter poster.
So it's not like they had to avoid Harry Potter as a whole for some licensing or who knows, like, copyright, whatever. Like, they talk about him dreaming about Daniel Radcliffe, and he has a Harry Potter poster on his wall that they show.
And he has a Hufflepuff badge pinned to his wall, which is nice.
So, like, they definitely mention Harry Potter and talk about it and everything. So why couldn't he have dressed up as a Dementor? Like, would that not have been cool enough looking? Was that the problem? And if he would have showed up to this party, they would have been like, oh my god, Simon is such a nerd and is dumb.
Bram would have been like, oh no, he's a nerd.
Oh no, I cannot like him. But yeah, like, what's simpler than just freaking slipping a black robe on top of your regular clothes? Bram would have been like, that's pretty simple. I don't know if it's badass, but it's definitely simple. Isn't Dementor badass?
I don't
Thoughts?
know. According to Simon, he thinks it is.
He thinks it's badass, and that's all
Also,
that matters.
all of their costumes were great. I mean, especially Bram's post-presidency Barack Obama.
I love Bram, and also I love Keenan Lonsdale, the actor that plays Bram, with all my heart.
Another thing they changed was Bram's, like, personality. I mean,
he's a lot
but
more
he talks
outgoing.
a lot.
He
in
talks
the book,
a lot.
He says, like, 2 sentences in the whole book until, like, before Simon finds out who he is.
Like, Simon describes him as awkward silence Bram.
Yeah, because he gets shy around cute boys, and so he can't talk to Simon because he thinks he's cute.
But it seems like he's just shy in general, too. Like, even in class, he wouldn't speak or anything like that. And in the movie, he's like, yo, Simon, what's up? Welcome to this party that I'm having. You want to play beer pong with me? And then they sing together, like, in public, out in, like, people are watching them.
Well, that's because they were drunk.
I know, but they're still just, like...
Also, he wasn't at the Halloween party in the book. It was Garrett's Halloween party, and Bram was at home.
But who's Garrett in the movie?
I know.
Garrett doesn't matter. He doesn't
But
get a
he
seat
was
in the
there.
car.
He was the one who was like, hey, come to Bram's party.
He doesn't get a seat in the car, and he's not the one hosting the party, so Garrett doesn't matter. It's only Bram. But yeah,
Justice for Garrett.
He talks to him a lot.
Yeah.
Which also just really highlights just how stupid Simon is. That Bram talks to him like almost on a daily basis. And is mentioning these things that they talk about in the emails, and Simon doesn't notice.
It makes Simon look even more stupid. Because in the book, Bram sits at their lunch table, and he's part of their sort of like group.
But not really.
But Simon doesn't really talk to him, so it's not as unbelievable to think that Simon just didn't connect things he knew about Blue to things he knew about Bram. But now that it shows that they're more friends, at least they talk more, and still Simon's like, oh, I know who Blue could be.
I don't know who this Blue person is. I have absolutely no idea.
It's not like he reminds me of one of these people that I eat lunch with literally every
Even
day.
Though I've been given 17 clues that match up with characteristics that Bram has, it couldn't possibly be. Let me fantasize about 2 other men that I've met.
It could be this random waiter I met at Waffle House who I haven't seen in years.
And this Waffle House waiter was nice to me, so it must be him. He was on his phone like a teenager would be, so that means that he was emailing me, and he's Blue. And you're just like, are you kidding me right now? You're so dumb. And also, I'm gonna probably hurt a lot of people that have read this book before, but Kaylee told me who Blue was before I read the book. Like, I knew it was Bram the whole time. So every time Bram showed up, I was like, be still my heart. He's here. And maybe Simon will have a freaking epiphany and figure out that it's him. But no. He's one of the stupidest boys ever. I mean, it didn't really...
It's really fun reading it when you know who it is. Like, rereading it for the second time when you're like...
Yeah, so I just got to skip that whole first time where I don't know who it is, and I was spared the stress of actually having to figure out who it was.
So if people have only seen the movie and not read the book, then don't worry, it's still amazing. And it doesn't spoil it. I mean, you know who Blue is, but it makes it more fun in a lot of ways.
I get to experience, like,
and then
their
you get to
interactions.
notice Bram sooner and actually pay attention and see how cute he is.
Because sometimes it's just like, and Bram was sitting at the table.
Like, yes.
Oh yeah, and my friend, and Nick's friend Bram was there. And you're like, Bram? You mean Blue? He's there? Did Simon look at him? And I'm just hyper aware of, like, any time that he's mentioned, even in the smallest amount. It's like, oh yeah, and then I waved to Bram because I saw him in the hallway, and you're like, oh my gosh, incredible, give me more. But that was good. But it just kind of, it allowed me to obsess even more about him as a character.
I listened to the audiobook with one of our other roommates when we were driving to Chicago, and it was really fun, like, being with her and seeing what she thought along the way. And pretty much the entire time she thought that it was Cal Price, which, I mean, so does Simon.
Those frosted tips are pretty irresistible.
Doesn't have frosted tips in the book.
He does now. In my mind. It's too late. He's got frosted tips now.
But she didn't know that when we were reading it.
You should have told her. But I mean, that would be the obvious answer because that's what Simon thinks.
Yeah.
Like, every time that Cal shows up in a scene, like, I could read it from Simon's point of view and be like, oh, I can see why he would think that it was Cal this whole time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I knew it was Bram, so I could just completely ignore Cal unless I wanted to pay attention.
I mean, Cal is cool.
Cal is good and pure too, but I mean, I would bypass him very quickly. Like, if he and Simon were talking I would just be like, none of this even matters because he's not Blue, Simon, so just get out of there.
They can still be friends.
I needed him to find out who Blue was, and it wasn't Cal, and I knew that already, so I wanted to get to the romance. Get to them meeting immediately.
Yes, I loved at the end of the book when he knew who Blue was, and he and Bram were like being cute, and they were going to eat Oreos for lunch and stuff, and they cut that out of the movie.
Instead, they just get iced
Which made me a
coffee
little
with
bit
all their
sad.
friends, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was
I
still
don't
good.
know. Ugh, talk about being sad.
The weirdest change that I'm not sure I like so much is the Ferris wheel.
Oh God, yes.
Like
I
Simon,
agree.
just like I'm gonna be on this Ferris wheel, just like everyone watching.
Hello, operator. I'd like to ride on this Ferris wheel for hours while everyone watches me.
Everyone's watching. Like Simon, you know that this boy isn't really ready to come out yet, but you still want him to ride on this Ferris wheel with you, with literally everybody watching.
They're just like, Simon's boyfriend is gonna show up and ride the Ferris wheel with him, and then they just watch him riding awkwardly. Like, why didn't you just wait by the Ferris wheel? You don't have to physically be on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, be like, I'll be at the carnival.
It's not like,
Because Blue knew who he was, so he didn't have to be in a specific place even, really.
but just a meeting place, it's a big area, I'm sure, the carnival. It would have been more difficult to just wander aimlessly around this whole fair like, Simon, I can't find Simon. But really, horribly uncomfortable. But it almost ruined the moment for me when Bram actually shows up, because I was just like, please God, tell me that they're not going to still keep riding this Ferris wheel together. And they do. But like,
It would have been cuter if there wasn't a whole crowd of people just watching them.
there is no way that actual Bram would have kissed Simon publicly for the first time while
that Ferris
riding
wheel.
on a Ferris wheel while their entire school watched them in a public place. Like, there's no freaking way that he would actually do that. Simon probably wouldn't either, because he's never kissed a boy.
I know, like he would have gone to him at the fair. I mean, he does in the book, obviously.
Yeah,
But
they don't even kiss. Like, they
No.
don't. They just like hold hands.
they hold hands in the dark because Simon's like not sure if he
And
can hold his
Simon-
hand because
and
he's
Simon
not
like
sure
asks for
if
permission.
Bram is ready for people to like see them holding hands. So he's like, "Can I hold
But
your
instead,
hand?"
Bram just shows up and he's like, hey guys, it's me, Bram, I'm gay, and this is my boyfriend, Simon, and we're gonna ride this Ferris wheel and then kiss for the first time right here in public in front of everyone. Enjoy!
Yeah, that was weird. And
Exasperated exhale.
I'm not a huge fan
A
of it.
little bit out of character, and I'm bothered. Oh, Kaylee is cringing really hard right now. But that really bothered me. Another thing that also bothered me, but not in an uncomfortable way, but in a heart-wrenchingly sad way, was that Blue deletes his email account when Martin tells everyone in their high school on their school freaking Tumblr that Simon is gay and releases the emails that he has. And Blue just deletes the emails and Simon like can't talk to him anymore. Killed me.
I know. I almost just started crying the first time I saw it. I was like, what?
I mean, I know you said that you saw my reaction firsthand when that
Yeah,
happened.
you
and
like
I was-
audibly gasped, like in the horror.
I feel like I blocked it out of my memory almost. Like, it shocked me so much. I got really still and I almost cried a little bit too. I was like, no, wait, what do you mean? Oh no, our roommate's coming back now.
Not that we don't want her here, but
But we can't podcast in the living room if they come back. I mean, we've been
we've been talking for 53
we've
minutes.
been talking for a while, so we could probably wrap this
I
up.
could talk for a long time about this because I love it so much.
We could always talk about it more after I read the book in English or something.
After we've seen the
After
movie,
we see it again,
Lots of
we'll
times.
talk about it again.
we could have guest stars come talk about their thoughts about it too.
Yes. I don't know. Do you have any more thoughts?
Not right now, I guess.
I can have some closing thoughts. I think it's a great story. It was so beautiful. I almost happy cried while reading it. I cried 3 times while watching it. And then I almost happy cried again at the end when Brim and Simon are reunited on that awkward, horrible Ferris wheel. But it was so good. And just like, the representation is just so refreshing and delightful.
I loved it. If it was just like a heterosexual romance, I would not have enjoyed it that much.
I definitely wouldn't have almost happy cried.
I might not even gone to see it because it's
I'm not gonna spend $8 to just go see regular high school
a regular
drama.
story, but they're gay, and so I'm gonna go see it again. And I love them.
It was so good. I just think it opens the door for like a lot of really good
Yes.
stories.
I never want to see another heterosexual
you
romance.
know what this did is that I actually read it. I would not have read that book if it was just like a straight romance story because that's annoying to me.
I wouldn't have read it. I don't read books with straight characters anymore.
It's just so obnoxious. Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't even really read contemporary things unless they're really popular. Like, I read The Fault in Our Stars because that was the big thing to read at the time.
I read it at the time. I wouldn't read it if it came out now.
But I don't read any of those kinds of books because I just find them really repetitive and boring, even though some of them, I'm sure some people will want to fight me. Like, no, they're not repetitive, they're all different. And I'm like, okay, but for me personally, I find them kind of boring. And some of the tropes are really annoying, and I just don't. But this one was so good. And, like, it used some of those tropes, but also it was creative because they're emailing.
Yeah.
And it approaches, like, both of them coming out and their experiences in just a really cool way and just, like, really great discussion of all of it. And I just loved it.
Yes, it was great. I almost happy cried when the movie started because I was so excited to see it.
And that means it's important. If you almost happy cry just thinking about it, it means it's a good story. And you
Sitting here right now, we will just start crying.
We're going to end the podcast by crying. So please share this with your friends and your family.
The P stands for please go see Love, Simon, and also read the book or I will fight you.
That's what the P stands for. All right. It also stands for podcast. Don't forget that part. But anyway, please enjoy and do whatever it is that you want to do to tell people about this podcast, because then we'll keep making more of it. So thank you, and have a good rest of your day or night or whenever you're listening to this. And then also go to your library or the bookstore and get this freaking book. Or watch it.
Or ask me, because I own 4 copies of it. Okay, bye.
Okay, goodbye.